and years. Had well over 1 million people come to our site and take the test for free, which has been so great. A lot of companies. I've been director of training for World Ventures for very close to 15 years. And certainly a lot of folks from the company have come there. But we also have 20 plus, direct selling companies that we have people taking it on a regular basis. So I'm really glad it's become an asset for the industry. It's awesome. We love serving people. It's really good. So today I've got some unique insights, actually insights I've never taught from stage about this. So we're pretty fired up. We're just going to give it a moment or so. Please type in where you're from. You have to type your name. We know your name. I almost said your name. We know what your name is, but where are you from? And if you're watching this live, please put in L. And if you're watching it on a replay, please put in R. So L for live, R for replay. Please drop that. See, that's cool. Like first Snoop had drop it like it's hot. Now we're having you drop things in the comments. I am working so hard on being cool and hip for this, this time in our world's history. So anyway, very excited. L for live, R for replay. I will encourage you, if you like this information, which I will be surprised if you don't, let's share the heck out of this. Really, really get this in front of as many people as you can. Here's the great thing about colors. This serves everybody. So again, I'm just going to kind of start and talk about personality profiling. It's been around for literally generations and generations. I believe Hippocrates, the physician from ancient Greece, was the first one who really, quote unquote, discovered it. I started reading his book on it, and it really had a lot. It was very scientific. Greens in our world, Greens would have loved it. Had to deal with the ratio between the black bile in your brain, the yellow bile, and two other fluids that run through your brain. I read about 4 pages and was like, okay, I don't need to know why a red's a red or a green's a green. I just need to understand how we interact with each other and what the tendencies are. I don't need the scientific data behind it, and neither do you. Please don't worry about that. This information is incredible if you're in network marketing. It will be very valuable as far as inviting people, presenting to people, closing people, training people, promoting things. Virtually anything you're going to do, you're going to do it better. I've always said if you want to open a clothing store, you wouldn't go to open a store with only your size. I'm about a 44 long as far as a suit goes, pretty close to being an exact 44 long off the rack. Imagine if I open a clothing store and the only clothes in the store fit me. See, that's the way a lot of people in sales are. And it's not just network marketing, it's all sales, it's all business. Most people have the whole, it's my way or the highway. Our Reds have more of that than anyone else, but everyone sort of just sees things through their own lens, if you will, and assumes everyone else does, and they talk and communicate and do everything through that one lens. So if you only had your size, your store wouldn't be very successful. You need everyone's size. Now, how would you realize what size someone is before you could give them the appropriate garment? You have to measure them. So we have a product called Living in Full Color that helps you measure people. We're not going to get into that at all on this call. I want to keep these short, sweet, and to the point. And I want to be able to give you information here that's brand new, but I'm going to give you an incredibly quick Reader's Digest catch up in case you've never heard of this before. So Reds are hard charging, driven, aggressive, and I'm sure many of you have taken the DISC test or the Myers-Briggs. Again, it's been around for well over 1,000 years, but the colors are awesome, and I'll explain to you as we go along here why doing it with colors is great. So Reds are the win-it-all cars, hard charging, people who want to be successful and well, driven by labels. I'm a Red, check it out. I'm the boss. That's how a Red thinks, and I like that brand. So Blues are the spontaneous, live for the moment, have a blast, don't worry about the consequences of your action, showing up whenever they feel like it, because they're just not really on any kind of a structure or schedule. They don't like schedule, structure, and pressures. Greens are the exact opposite of that. Greens like everything to be precise. They want to have a plan of action. They're great at executing. They have a tendency to be perfectionists. They're not very outgoing. They don't like getting close with people, intimate relationships and stuff like that. I don't want to say they're mechanical, but they're definitely the least interactive with other people, I guess you would say. Okay, and then last but not least, we have the yellows, which are very opposite of that. Yellows are the ones who live for relationship, and they love being around other people, and family is important. They love to be in the great outdoors. They want everyone to get along. They're peacemakers. They love animals. They love the environment. They're just literally the most wonderful people in the world. So that's a quick run through on what it is. You can go to marcaccetta.com and take the test if you haven't taken it before. But I want to dive in. We're always, if you get Living in Full Color, we have well over an hour of video, another hour of audio that talks about each of the groups, how you identify them, how you interact with them. Because the colors part of it is this. If I'm a red, and reds are loud, like normally I'd be like this. If I'm just talking normally, I'm loud. But if I talk like this for very long, even in this short period of time, I'm talking so loud, that's going to really bother the yellows. And it's not going to make the greens very excited. The reds will love it. Yes, the reds will love it. And the blues are going to love it too. But the other two groups aren't going to like it. So each group has things they like and dislike. A lot of us are just, again, acting like our natural color, whatever we are. So therefore, we're turning people off. While we're turning people on, we're turning other people off. So the real point of the colors is to learn how to be a chameleon and communicate with the person language you're speaking in. For example, if I speak English and I'm talking to someone who speaks French, I love going to France, a lot of times it's difficult to communicate with them with exactly what you want. Well, imagine if it was a life and death situation. Imagine it was a critical money-making situation. You couldn't express yourself. The other person didn't understand you. I'm telling you, if you talk red and you're talking to a yellow or a green or a blue, a lot of times people aren't going to fully understand what you're doing. So the idea is read them and then communicate with them, not only in their language, but also in their communication style. So again, get the product, go through that, come and hear me talk any other time. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit more update. You know, I was watching one of my favorite sitcoms of all time is 30 Rock. And if you haven't seen it recently, NBC has a new streaming service they're introducing and pushing called the Peacock. And in order to really promote that, they were brilliant. They did one episode only of 30 Rock. And for fans like me who are big fans, we tuned in. Well, it was funny, it was awesome, but it was a big commercial to promote the Peacock. So certainly a red thought of that. However, when they were doing the show, I noticed it was really cool that the person, Liz Lemon, who's the star of the show, is played by Tina Fey, had written in a lot more stuff about how to, use your phone, which is very, that's evolved so dramatically. I remember years ago, watching movies for the first time, you'd see a character take out their phone and start typing, and it seemed so bizarre to see that in a movie. Now it's become more commonplace. So I wanted to update a little bit on the colors, talking specifically about the phone and social media. So again, one of the big things here is to identify someone and read them. So if you want to know, am I talking to a red, a blue, a green, or a yellow? There's all the typical ways that I've taught for years. I'm not going to go through right now, but let's talk about the way a red uses their phone. So if you're communicating with a red and while they're talking to you, they take out their phone blatantly without any tact and or maybe respect for you and start answering messages, there's a good chance they're a red, because the world revolves around red, and they will sit there and continue to message to the point where they're barely even listening, and they'll look up occasionally and smile and go back to their phone. Now, it might be a personal deal, but most of the time, reds are going to be rude like that, primarily for business. A hardcore red will do it for anything, but mostly reds are going to be on their phone in the middle of a face-to-face talk because of something to deal with business and making money. Now, the other people will pull their phone out, or definitely the blues. The blues have no boundaries. So again, their phone goes off. By the way, the blues have more notifications on their phone than anybody else. They need to know if somebody made a comment on a picture, they want to immediately comment back on it. To a blue, who is probably the most social being in the world, they want to communicate back and forth. So they type something back and they sit there and they wait and they wait and they wait and they check to see if you communicated back to them. So again, blues and blues are social, so they're always with someone. So they'll pull out their phone, and even if you say to a blue or a red, hey, hey, I'm talking to you, could we put your phone down? They'll go, yeah, for sure, I'm sorry. A red may just tell you, screw you, but a blue will go, I'm really sorry. But then they just can't help themselves. They have to pick it up again, and if someone replied, they have to reply right away, especially if it's something that's exciting or juicy or whatever to them. Blues kind of can't help themselves, and reds really don't care. Now, yellow, gonna put their phone away. A yellow is not going to pull out their phone while they're communicating with you. So again, this is a really good way as you're sitting there spending time with someone to understand what color they are, just literally by the way they do or don't use their phones. Reds and blues are likely to interact on their phone while they're communicating with you. Yellows and greens are most likely not going to use it. Now, there are some people that while you're talking to them, they may take it out and they're going to type some notes or something like that. Greens are definitely going to be more note takers than anybody else. Reds will do that as well. Reds are trying to fit 10 pounds of bologna into a 7-pound bag. Time management-wise, we're always busy doing stuff. So an evolved red knows we have terrible memory. So a lot of times I'll stop, but here's the thing. A red and a blue are just going to start using their phone, where if a yellow or a green takes out their phone, most likely they're going to say, hey, I'm going to write that down on my phone, or hey, do you mind if I take out my phone for a moment? Again, usually a green or a yellow will have their phone silenced if it goes off. Usually a red or a blue is going to leave their phone on. If you're in a group setting and someone answers their phone, that's a red or a blue. I'm telling you, the odds are overwhelmingly high if they are. And if someone starts, again, we could go on with this, but you get the point. Now, how about the way we all use our phones on social media? Who do you suppose is on social media the most? Well, the most social people are blues and yellows. So they are, but here's what's interesting. Reds are also on social media, especially if they feel like they need to. Reds are going to be very concerned about their image on social media. Here's the crazy, reds are going to edit the heck out of their pictures, or they may have someone that works for them edit them, but they're going to want them to look really good. Reds and blues are going to have a lot of photos of their favorite subject, themselves. It's really going to be funny, where yellows and greens are going to have a lot. You can go to some of their pages and find it almost impossible to find a picture of them. Yellows are posting pictures of their children, their family, their animals, beautiful. If they go on a trip, a blue is going to snap the selfie in front of whatever it is, even if it's not a nice background. The main background for a blue is themselves. You know what I mean? They love being the center of attention. Where yellow will take a lot of photos of just a beautiful setting. Greens will do that stuff too. A lot of greens will go out and find things on the internet and post them. Certainly everyone can post something insightful, but yellows and greens are going to be the main ones who post insightful thoughts, where reds and blues are going to be the center of attention in most of their stuff. By the way, a lot of reds will not post photos of anyone else. Blues will. Blues have a lot of group pictures, a lot of adventure pictures. They love having other people in a picture with them, although they probably lead the world in taking selfies as well. But with a red, a lot of times you'll know if a red respects you or not if you make their social media, because they're not going to put just anyone on their social media. You have to make the grade, because they'll be associated. The other thing blues do is they tag everyone, even people who aren't in the photo. Oh my God, do you know how crazy you're driving a green by tagging them in a photo that they're not in? Why would people do that? Because they know someone has a much larger following than them. They want to get more people to look at it. So reds will do that as well, especially in a business setting, because they want their post to get as much looks as humanly possible, as many likes, so they can monetize it. Again, a lot of reds are focused on monetizing their social media. Blues and yellows are not focused on that at all. So you will find that almost everyone's on social media to one degree or another, but someone who's constantly going back to it is a blue, for sure. That's a really strong possibility. Reds can get, here's the thing about a red. We have addictive personalities, every way, every shape, every form. So it's possible that a red will get addicted to it, and a red's also the one who's going to get into fights. Reds love Twitter, and while a yellow will post something, and if someone whatever source of social media, if someone says something nasty, not that that ever happens on social media, if someone says something nasty, a yellow is heartbroken. A red's like, awesome, here we go. And they will fire back like crazy. Oh my gosh, some of these Twitter wars are famous. There was a Twitter war the other day with Mark Cuban and Ted Cruz, and just the back and forth. Boy, it was like two gladiators going into combat. So anyway, it was a lot of fun, but I'm just trying to give you some tells, if you will, so you understand who you're dealing with and what their tendencies are going to be with social media. Now, let me also say this. This is important, not about social media, not about using your phone. It's important about everything. So I'm a red predominantly, but I'm not all red. I've got blue, green, and yellow in me. And whatever your color turns out to be, you've got the other colors in you as well. So this gives us a competitive advantage, but everyone's different. Okay, I have known reds who were intense all the time, and I've known other people who their highest color was red, but overall they were very, very balanced. Okay, so you can't treat exactly everyone the same. I know a lot of you guys, or at least some of you are into zodiac signs. You know, I'm a Sagittarius with that. I don't know that much about it, but I know a little bit about it. And I know there are some people that are very, very true to their sign, and other people who aren't true to their sign at all. So again, it's not an exact science. You know what I mean? Like my girlfriend Sarah is a Leo, and she's a pretty textbook Leo. Whenever I read something about that, it really adds up. And my mom, who was also a Leo, is so she had some of the qualities of being very loyal and loving for sure, but some of the intensity and the fire, my mom didn't have that at all. So does that mean the whole thing is a joke or a scam? No, it just means that no human being can put into one box and that's all that they are. You know, I live in America. Some people from different countries, they have a certain view of Americans. Obviously, Americans have certain views of other people. Are there some real stereotypes, the difference between someone who lives in New York City and someone who lives in Kansas City? Yes, there are, but again, you can't just put everyone from New York in a New York box. But if you're going to New York, you've never been there before, you should get ready for a little bit more fast pace, a little bit more direct communication. So it does give us a competitive advantage. Every once in a while, we'll get somebody message us, or at a live seminar, someone will go, well, you know, I tested at this color. I remember having a red lady saying, I tested this color, but you said that this is the way reds are, and this is not the way I am. So either I'm not a red or your test is inaccurate. I'm like, when you're yelling at someone over test results, just rest assured that you're a red. And the funny thing about it also is the fact that, again, this woman was a red, but the way she dressed didn't fit exactly the profile. So it's not an exact science. That's why I give you 5 or 6, 7 or 8 or 10 ways to read someone. But ultimately, I just gave you a couple of more. Again, I don't want to forget this, phone cases. Blues are going to have bling bling, fun, bright phone cases. Reds, some reds are going to be like me, have no phone case. They just like it sleek like it is. But if they do have a phone case, it's going to be something that looks good, but it's classy. Again, brand names. Reds are about brand names. Where greens and yellows, greens are going to have the safest, smartest. Greens may have that case that charges the phone while using it. If you drop it, and you could drop it off the top of a building and it's not going to break because that case is so strong. Again, it just little things. I'm giving you ways to get an idea which color they are, but nothing is exact. Okay, there's nothing that you can say without a doubt if this person has that hairstyle, they're a red. If they have this hairstyle, they're a blue. But when you take the whole mosaic and we keep adding more and more pieces, like what I just shared with you on this, you get a real understanding of who somebody is, and it just gives you an advantage. Remember this. People buy from us because they like us and trust us. People say yes and agree with us because they like us and trust us. And the easiest way to get someone to like you and trust you is to read them and communicate with them in their style. That's all. Okay, so if I'm talking to a yellow, I'm gonna lower my voice. And if I'm talking to a red, and if I'm talking to a blue, I'm gonna keep the conversation exciting and so on and so forth. If I'm talking to a green, I'm gonna slow it down, I'm gonna be softer, and I'm gonna be very precise with everything that I'm saying. So again, I've been doing this literally for decades. Some of you guys, this is brand new to you. Let me just share this. Go to the website. You can either go to marcaccetta.com or the new marcaccetta.seminars.com. Get the colors. Actually, you should probably go to Mark Accetta Seminars because there's 2 bonus tracks that we've never done before if you purchase the product. One of them, and this is of course ideal for direct sell network marketers, is how to close anyone based on their color. How to close a sale for any prospect based on their color. And then the second bonus track is when a person says, yes, I want to be a rep, how to get that new person started based on their color. Again, so many people have a system that's so rigid and everyone has to do it my way. Remember my way or the highway? That's not the best way. You need to get people started the best way for them, and you'll get much more stick-to-itiveness? Wow, that's not even the right word. You'll get a lower level of people dropping off. Listen to me closely if you're in network marketing. People's first 30 days is vital. It's critical. Get them started the way they want to get started, and you'll be surprised how your long-term ability to build a much bigger group, because it's hard for someone to keep buying a product if they quit. It's hard for someone to bring other people into the company if they've quit. Get them through those first 30 days by getting them started the right way. So you have those 2 bonus gifts, but here's the deal. Anyone who gets any Living in Full Color, between now and the end of August, I'm going to do a special. This has been a quick live, but we're going to do a good 60 to 90 minute webinar, and I'm going to give you even more information. So for anyone who buys Living in Full Color for the month of August on any of the sites, we're going to put you into a webinar the very, very first couple days of September, and I'm going to get into more teaching in detail in a unique new ways like I did on this than we've ever done before. So I'm very excited about that. I wish I could give you that right now. It was hard to hold back some of that information and just focus on the phone and social media. But it's going to be really exciting. Hope we can get lots of people to go ahead. So remember, forward this to someone, share it with someone if you like what you saw. If you're watching live, put an L. If you're putting R, get a replay. And the other thing I'll say is we do have an amazing free gift I haven't even mentioned right now, which is called the 10 keys to making $100,000 a year in network marketing. I think it's one of the best, if not the best, audio program we've ever had. I've sold audio programs for $200-300 before. This is free. So just type in the word free if you want to, and or go to Mark Accetta Seminars and click on the link to get the free gift. Either way, the 10 keys will definitely bless you and your team. So that's all we've got for this Saturday. We will be back again for sure on Wednesday. I'm starting to have fun getting the hang of doing these, writing lots and lots and lots of materials so that every time you and or anyone on your team gets on here, it'll be worth your time. That's my main objective. The information I received from my mentor affected me in such a positive way. I can't imagine trying to do this business without great information. So I'm going to keep sharing great information so you can never say you didn't know how to do it. So that's all we got. Have an incredible Saturday. Have a great weekend. We'll see you again next Wednesday. God bless. Adios. Sayonara. See you later.